Howdy friends, it me, MattCMG, and welcome back to another episode of the new series that I'm calling Matt's Music Reviews, or something like that. I don't know, title's still pending. Last time we went through all of the English songs from the Pokemon anime, and at the end of that video I promised that I would do the Japanese songs as well. Today, we'll be doing just that. We'll be going through Pokemon's Japanese discography and giving my thoughts on them. However, there's one problem. There is a metric fuck ton of Japanese Pokemon music out there, more so than the English stuff. Here's the English albums that we talked about in the last music review. Here's all the Japanese ones. Yeah, that's not fucking happening. So for the sake of simplicity and setting a new precedent for this series, I'll only be discussing the opening themes and the ending themes as a gateway for Japanese Pokemon music. That's kind of the direction I want to take this series in. Don't take it as a serious review of whether the song is good or bad. It's just me sharing my opinion on each song as a gateway for you to check it out. In other words, I'll give my opinions on the important stuff, and if you like the sound of it, then go check out some of it on your own, because oftentimes the rabbit hole goes pretty deep. I also feel the need to describe my ranking system, since I didn't do that last time. Introducing the Matt's Music Reviews Spectrum of Slappage. Title still pending. I think that's kind of dumb. If you have a better title, leave it in the comments. Here in the very far left we have Trash, which means that I didn't like the song at all. Then there's Mad, which means I can tolerate the song. Right in the middle we have a Bop, which means I liked it, but I'll still skip it sometimes. Then there's Slaps, which means I thoroughly enjoyed the song. And on the very far right here, we have a banger. It's a banger. You guys know what that means. I'll never skip it. I'll sing along. I'll dance to it. And even though I'm white and can't dance, it's a banger. You guys know what that means. You guys know terms. But without further ado, let's get weird. Let's get wild. And let's get right into reviewing almost every Japanese Pokemon song. First up for the Japanese openings, we've got the classic Mazase Pokemon Master, or Aim to be a Pokemon Master when translated. This song is to Japan what Gotta Catch 'Em All is to us in English. It's the definitive Pokemon song that just perfectly embodies what Pokemon is all about. It's about friendship, adventure, following your dreams, battling imaginary monsters. It's the whole package, really. This song is so iconic for the anime in Japan that it's been remixed 7 different times for different occasions. They did a movie version from Mewtwo Strikes Back, which they re-recorded for the 3D remake. They did 2 versions for movies 4 and 5. The Japanese group Whiteberry did a version for the 4th OP, and Rika Matsumoto re-recorded a new version for the I Choose You movie that was used as the OP for a while during Sun and Moon, and she also recorded a slow ballad version of the song that was also for the I Choose You movie, this time for the soundtrack. I don't think it was in the movie itself. What's even crazier is that all of these different versions of the same song are completely different stylistically, each evoking different emotions. With the original and the 20th anniversary versions having this adventurous feel reminiscent of the original Dragon Ball opening, the Whiteberry version has more of a pop vibe to it. All of the movie versions are distinctly different dance mixes in a way, while the ballad version is this melancholic take on the original. Mazase Pokemon Master is an absolute banger, no doubt about it. Next is opening 2, titled The Rivals. As the title suggests, this song is all about rivalries in the context of Pokemon. It's about how, win or lose, you always improve, especially when you have a healthy rivalry to compete with. In terms of the song itself, though, I'm not too big on it. The instrumental itself is kind of generic, though the vocals kind of save it in that regard. Rika's always pretty good. Overall, this one's a bop. I don't feel too strongly about it either way, but again, I encourage you to check it out for yourself and see if you like it or not. Okay, it's the 3rd opening. That was fucking cringe. And I gotta tell you, this opening is some balls to the wall, high octane action when it comes to Pokemon openings. It's this hype song with these heavy rock influences. It's very upbeat, very high energy. It gets you hyped, especially when that pre-chorus kicks in, with the golden sun and silver moon. I can't sing. Please fucking kill me. These motherfuckers really predicted Sun and Moon 16 years earlier like we wouldn't fucking notice. Lyrically, it deals with similar subject matter as the previous 2 openings, with themes of self-improvement, not giving up, all that shit. You might want to get used to hearing that, because a lot of these openings have that same kind of theme, so just kind of get used to that when we talk about the message and themes of these songs. Honestly, I can't do this song justice by describing it to you. You kind of need to listen to it for yourself. It's a banger. Opening number 4 is Mazase Pokemon Master Whiteberry version, which I already covered earlier, so we're gonna be skipping this one. That brings us to opening number 5, titled Ready, Go. I like the previous openings, which were all these, upbeat hype songs. This one's a little bit more somber, it's still upbeat, but the lyrics and vocal delivery give it this more hopeful sound, like it's from the perspective of someone who's looking down on themselves and then becomes inspired to go on. I think that's overall kind of what this song is about, moving on, but not in like a sad way, instead in a way that's like inspirational, like it inspires you. It has a very unique instrumental compared to the previous openings, feeling a little bit overproduced, but I still think it sounds good, so fuck it. I'm not too huge on this one, but I still think it's a bop. Moving on to the advanced generation of the anime, we have opening 6 titled Advanced Adventure. I think this opening does a great job at setting the stage for advanced generation, since at the time it was coming out, it was entirely new to us that Ash would leave all of his old Pokemon and go to a new region with only Pikachu and meet a whole new cast. This was the first time that he had done something like that, and I think this opening does a great job at looking at that kind of thing in a positive light. The song's all about going on adventures and having a good time, you know, some wholesome stuff. It's Pokemon, you kind of expect wholesome. It is a very adventurous song, as the title would lead you to believe, and while not on the same level as Masase Pokemon Master in that regard, it still does a great job at conveying that same emotion. It's not the best OP out there, but I think it certainly slaps. Next is opening 7 titled Challenger, and I'm honestly not feeling this one. The lyrics are fine, it's the same stuff we've kind of been seeing from the other OPs, and Rika Matsumoto is great as always. It's the instrumental that kind of kills this one for me. It's certainly unique with its, you know, guitar techno thing going on. I don't know if that's what it is. I'm not a musician, don't take me very seriously. But I'm not too into that. At least to me, it just doesn't match the rest of the song. The song is a lot more low-key compared to other openings, and it's certainly unique for that as well. But again, I'm not feeling it. I'll give this one a meh. Moving on to opening number 8, this is a weird one. We have Pokemon Symphonic Melody. This song is completely different from any other Pokemon OP ever, for that matter. It's an orchestral medley of some of the previous opening songs. It starts off with like this operatic version of Advanced Adventure. The middle of the song is mostly instrumental versions of other songs like Challenger and Ready Go, and the song ends with an operatic version of Masase Pokemon Master. It's actually not that bad on its own. It's actually quite good if you can recognize all the motifs and stuff. The problem is that it's meant to be an opening theme, and I don't think that it really works that well in that regard. You know, it's a fine song, but a terrible opening. I'll give this one a mess, specifically because it's very out of place with the other OPs, and I would probably feel differently if it were left as its own thing on a soundtrack or something. Next, we have opening number 9 titled Battle Frontier, the Virgin Dub OP versus the Chad Japanese OP. This song slaps pretty fucking hard. It's kind of your typical rock instrumental. I love the main melody of it, like Hikaru Daichi, I don't speak Japanese. You know, that's that melody. I like the melody. Lyrically, this song is more of that kind of vowing to get stronger type stuff, you know, connecting with your friends type stuff, you know, Pokemon stuff. This song is high energy all throughout. It's like when you nut, but she keeps sucking. Every time you think it's peaked, there's still more to it. From the opening guitar riff to the chorus that goes so fucking hard, it's just a super fun song all throughout. It's a banger. Something, 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 something. I don't know the fucking words. Suck my dick. Oh yeah, down, down, sesame, da 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 da. Yes, I'm okay. Oh yes, I'm down, sesame, da. Suck my nuts, I don't know the fucking words. Suck on my ass, lick on my fucking taint and balls. I am cutting all of that. From one banger to the next, we move on to opening number 10, Spurt. Funny name. This song is like if OK and The Rivals had a baby. It hits all the highs of OK while still having that quieter, more introspective parts of The Rivals, and it works really well. It has similar lyrical contents to many of the other songs, you know, Getting Stronger, all that shit. It's most certainly a hype song. Every time I hear that first 15 seconds though, I just nut immediately. It's that hype. Not a whole lot to say about this one, I just think it's an absolute banger. Go listen to it. Moving on to the Diamond and Pearl openings, there's only 3 of them, but each one has 2 different versions of it that were used as openings, so I'll be discussing the main 3, and I'll mention their variations. So starting off with Diamond and Pearl's first opening, we have Together, and this is the kind of OP that you're only gonna get in Japan. Not because of the obvious fact that it's in Japanese, but the fact that the instrumentation sounds very Japanese to me. I don't know what it is, but it sounds just distinctly East Asian, and I like it. Lyrically, the song has some direct Pokemon references in it, with references to moves like Last Resort, Aqua Jet, Rock Climb, and other Pokemon-related things like Mount Coronet and the Friendship Checker. If you didn't read the lyrics or speak Japanese, then you probably would have missed those things, but they're more than just references for the sake of it. They actually have purpose and meaning in the song. As the title suggests, the song is about togetherness and friendship, with lines such as, "Defog away our clouded spirits," and "Sorry, but the Friendship Checker reads 0, truly it makes you cry," being pretty decent metaphors that only Pokemon fans would really understand. Like I mentioned earlier, there are 2 versions of each Diamond and Pearl opening, and the 2 for Together are Together 2007, which is the one we just discussed, And then there's Together 2008, which was a remix used for about 15 episodes during the anime's run. There isn't a full version of 2008, but the version that does exist does away with a lot of the Japanese sounding instrumentals of the 2007 version and becomes more generic soft rock, and it gives the song a similar yet distinctly different vibe, if that makes any fucking sense to you. Personally, this isn't my favorite OP, but it certainly slaps. Next we have opening number 12, titled High Touch. For whatever reason, I remember not liking this song when I first heard it, but when I went to listen to it again for this review, I was blown the fuck away. Unlike other Pokemon openings, which are typically just one singer, this song is actually a duet between Rika Matsumoto as Satoshi or Ash, and Megumi Toyoguchi as Hikari or Dawn, and it's fucking awesome. I assume they're meant to be in character singing this, which just makes it better, honestly. If you're a Pearl shipper, this song is basically your wet dream, as it has Ash and Dawn singing about being there for each other, and it's cute as fuck. But don't get your hopes too high there, Pearl shippers, as this song is distinctly about friendship, platonic friendship, with the title High Touch being the Japanese way of saying high five, which is a pretty universal friendship-only thing. Lyrically and thematically, the two versions are exactly the same, but in terms of the instrumentals, the original version used a lot of synth and doesn't seem like any real instruments were used, though I could be wrong there, I don't know anything about music. But the 2009 version is almost the exact opposite, using a lot of actual instruments like guitars and trumpets and shit. I personally like the 2009 version better than the original because of this. It sounds more triumphant, but if you're in the mood for a lighter, more personal sounding song, then the original might just be for you. Like I said, I originally didn't think I'd like this song at all, but the more I listen to it, the more I like it. It's a banger. And lastly, for the Diamond and Pearl openings, we have Psycho Every Day, or The Greatest Every Day when translated. The original version of this song has an instrumental that feels much more artificial, but also gives me like 80s vibes, while the band version is straight up rock, and if you've been paying attention, you've probably seen the pattern here. There's an original version that's made artificially, remix version made authentically. Either way, still pretty cool. This song is a straight up feel-good song, with lyrics about being in sync with your friends, which you can apply to any character in the anime at the time, and they use English to kind of accentuate that. Important lyrics that add to the theme of the song are sung in English, which happens to be great for my monolingual small brain, but it also helps emphasize what they wanted to get across. Ultimately, you just kind of feel good listening to this one, and there's nothing really wrong with it per se. So I'd say it personally slaps. Now we move on to the black and white openings, with opening 14 appropriately titled Best Wishes. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of this one. It's not a bad song at all, the instrumental is nice but generic, and Rika is great as always, but this song just kind of edges you along the entire time. Like, every time I thought this song was gonna like kick into overdrive with like a high energy chorus or something, it just kind of doesn't. It's a rather stagnant song, if that makes sense. It doesn't have any real highs or lows. Even the ending part where it seems like we're trying to reach one of those highs, it just doesn't, at least not for me. Again, not bad, just not for me. I didn't really enjoy this one all that much. It's meh. Next are openings 15 and 16, which are both different versions of the same song, yet are considered different OPs, so I'll be counting them as the same one. I'll be reviewing them together. And this song is, of course, Be an Arrow. Much like the previous opening, this song is good, but it just edges you along the entire time, making you expect them to go all out at certain points of the song and then just never doing it. I will give this one credit though, because it does hit its highs, but it takes too long to get to that point, and they still kind of like edge you along to get there. Lyrically, I get what the verses are saying. It's your typical Pokemon stuff of friendship and optimistic adventure, but the chorus makes no sense to me. Like, be an arrow? Fuck does that mean? I think what it's trying to say is to aim forward and never stop, like an arrow. Like, you know, an arrow just kind of points in one direction and never stops. But the only time that's ever obvious is at the end of the song. The 2013 remix for the end arc is slightly different in its instrumentation, but not by much. Though I will say I did like the 2013 version slightly more. Shame there's no full version of it though. I know a lot of people really love this opening, but it's just not for me. I'd say it's a bop, but it's like a low end bop. Like, I'll listen to it, but And last for the black and white openings, we have opening 17 titled Summerly Slope. This opening is interesting to me because it's one of the rare instances where a Pokemon song isn't about battles or getting stronger or anything like that. This song is about having a memorable summer. The friendship stuff is still there, but it's in a different context than it usually is. This kind of thing works decently well because it was used in the Decalore Islands arc for the anime, which has this kind of summertime aesthetic to it, so a song about summer fits pretty well there. And unlike previous black and white openings, this one doesn't fucking edge you along the entire time. It has clear highs and clear lows, and the highs hit pretty hard, especially when you read the lyrics. This is one of the few Pokemon openings I had actually never heard before until this review, and on a first listen, This one slaps. Dude, my legs are falling asleep in this chair. I hate this thing. Moving on to the X and Y openings, we have another 2-for-1 special with Volt and Mega Volt, the latter of which is a remix of the former. So I'm reviewing them as the same song because they are the same song. They're just a remix. Volt starts off by listing all the Pokemon types, then we get into some adventure and following your dreams type lyrics, all with a rock instrumental in the background with the occasional synth every now and again. The remix Mega Volt takes the synths to a whole new level, sounding almost completely artificial, which isn't bad, but I'd prefer the original over the remix. Definitely a unique opening song for Pokemon. There aren't any quite like it, and I might be slightly nostalgia biased here because this was one of the first Japanese Pokemon openings I had heard since X and Y was the first series that I watched subbed. But I think it does an overall good job at setting up the series and being a decent song on top of that. Pretty good, but not a favorite. I'd say it's a bop. Next is Mad Paced Getter, and this one is an absolute banger. It's this very happy-go-lucky kind of tune, but it goes absolutely fucking hard. The singing, inspiring. The instrumental, banging. This song makes me want to go on an adventure to a city, you know, have a good time, explore the world, shit like that. Lyrically, the song is about looking into the future with drive and optimism. That if you forge your own future, that everything will work out. You know, it's a great message. It's a fucking banger. No questions asked. And from one banger to the next, we have the opening for X, Y, and Z, appropriately titled X, Y, and Z. I genuinely think that this is Rika Matsumoto's best work. She knocks it out of the park with this song, and her voice really suits this hard rock kind of style. You know, it's been a while since we've heard a hard rock Pokemon intro. Above all else, this song is a hype song. Just the first few notes get you hyped up, while the lyrics feature a lot of Pokemon moves and abilities to add to the battle themes of the song. In good old Pokemon fashion, this song has lyrics about never giving up and overcoming adversity to achieve greatness. This song goes so fucking hard, it's an absolute banger, and this is certainly one of the best Pokemon openings of all time, and I think most fans would probably agree with me here. Next we have the first Sun and Moon opening, Alola. Right off the bat, this song perfectly captures the tropical vibe of the Alola region with its bongos and other tropical sounding percussion, along with heavy use of trumpets, which I think sounds great. It's very, very triumphant, very adventurous. It's a bit lacking in the lyrical department. There's not a lot there, and what is there isn't all that deep. It's about the thrill of battle and adventure, you know, pretty typical stuff there. The chorus goes pretty fucking hard, though, can't deny. Overall, this opening does a great job at setting up the series it's from, and is really fun and high energy. It just lacks kind of these deeper lyrics. Overall, though, I would say that it slaps. We're going to be skipping the Mazase Pokemon Master 20th Anniversary version because we already covered it earlier, so let's move on to Future Connection. Immediately you can tell that this song is some form of pop rock, and that's all fine and dandy, but what I really like about this song is the lyrics. The song seems to be from the perspective of Poipole, with lyrics about being alone, but then finding someone to share your dreams with, and this is all backed up when you look at the actual opening, like, you know, with the video that, you know, that when it plays in the episode. The lyrics are also generic enough to apply to anybody, with following your dreams being Pokemon's thing. Of course, everybody knows that that's Pokemon's thing. To complement that, we have some great singing from the group Real, with like a backwards R, and their singing is very quiet and introspective when it needs to be, but happy and upbeat for the choruses that are, you know, kind of supposed to be like, you know, yeah, youth culture and shit. Overall, there isn't much else I have to say about this one. It slaps. And last for our Sun and Moon openings, we have Your Adventure. And this song is a fucking banger. This might not be the best Pokemon opening out there, but it's one of my personal favorites, and I'll tell you why. I had kind of fallen off the Pokemon anime for a while during Sun and Moon. You know, I watched it somewhat consistently in the beginning, then I kind of fell off and forgot about it, and tuned in for the kind of the important arcs. I hadn't watched Pokemon in a long-ass time, and when I knew the Pokemon League was coming around, I started watching Sun and Moon again, because, you know, you never miss a league, that's just kind of the rule. This was the opening that I kind of came back to the anime with, and I immediately loved it. And the more I listen to it, the more I love it. It's got a pretty nice basic kind of, you know, rock instrumental with a nice melody to it, and the vocals are serviceable, but it's the lyrics that make this one of the best Pokemon opening themes ever, in my opinion. The first two lines of the song are, "Don't be afraid of stuff you've never seen or done. Come on, future hero, let's run with the winds at our backs." And I immediately think of Ash Ketchum adventuring through the Pokemon world, living life to the fullest whenever I hear that line. This is what Pokemon has always been about, and it makes me want to do the exact same. The chorus is the best part of the song in my opinion, and it ends on it very triumphantly with the final line, "This is your adventure and no one else's, so let's take a step forward." Meaning, it's your life, and you get to choose it. This is an absolute fucking banger, no cap. And last but certainly not least for the openings in general, we have the opening song to the current series, Pokemon Journeys, titled 1, 2, 3. This one is yet another banger, and I think it rivals Mazase Pokemon Master as the definitive Pokemon song. It starts off with the startup sound from the original Game Boy where Pokemon got its start, and then we get into this kind of pop rock instrumental with some lyrics about going on a journey, referencing the premise of the series where they go kind of around the world. There are lines such as, "Because the future I once imagined is right in my pocket," which is about how Pokemon can be a gateway to a new future and to new friendships. And the last line of the song is "Kimi ni Kimeta," which translates to "I choose you." And in the context of the song, the person they're choosing is a friend to face the world with. Alongside that, the song is just catchy as fuck, you know, 1, 2, 3, da 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 da. It gets stuck in your head really easily. This one is an absolute banger, and I don't think that it gets enough credit for that. Recently, the song was remixed to make the, you know, the kind of the second opening for Journeys, and the remix is just as good, even though I feel like it kind of loses something when the After the Rain isn't performing it. You know, it's still a pretty decent remix. I'm still kind of new to it. It's still kind of new, so I didn't really want to include it, but it's pretty decent. So that has been all of the Pokemon openings up to present day, and there's a ton of variety for you to choose from here. My personal favorites were definitely Mazase Pokemon Master, OK, Mad Pace Getter, X, Y, and Z, Battle Frontier, Spurt, Your Adventure, and 1, 2, 3. While I wasn't too fond of the Symphonic Melody or the Rivals, even so, there's a lot of really great opening themes that oftentimes branch out into other artists or other music from the series. So go find your favorite Pokemon series, go listen to its Japanese OP, and go down a little bit of a rabbit hole, a music rabbit hole, if you will. So you'll probably find some good stuff in there. Now this is probably going to be the longest section of the video, so let's talk about the TV ending songs. In this section, we're going to be covering any song that was used as an ending for the main anime, excluding specials and excluding shorts. We're also going to be including one-time ending themes and, you know, ones that were just kind of only for a couple episodes and you know, stuff like that, kind of special endings. While many of the openings are typically very similar, you know, they're these high energy songs about friendship and battle, the ending themes typically have a lot more variety in that some will be happy friendship songs, while others will be a little bit more sad, melancholic songs. This meme very much holds true in this regard. Let's get into it. First up is 151, the very first ending of the Pokemon anime. This one ain't for me, dog. This is most certainly a children's song with its super simple instrumental you'd expect from fucking Sesame Street. You know, I get it, Pokemon's always been a kid's show, but this is a bit much. I will say that the lyrics are pretty interesting, using the original 151 Pokemon as analogies for having a lot of friends and creating a lot of memories. This really only works when translated, though, as when you actually hear it in Japanese, it's incredibly basic sounding. They also have a choir of children that come in to do the chorus at one point, and I fucking hate children, especially when a choir of them is injected into songs for absolutely no reason. So this one's gonna be a trash from me, dog. I think this is the first trash we've had in this video. No disrespect to the people who made it, by the way, I just didn't like it. Ending number 2 is simply titled Meowth's Song, which is performed by Meowth's Japanese voice actress, Inuko Inuyama. I had to read that off the script because, I can't pronounce things like that off memory. This is a super melancholic song for a few reasons. It's got a very slow tempo, features mostly acoustic guitars with a backing drum, and the occasional synth every now and again to give off a feeling of like a lonely night kind of thing. This is kind of backed up for the video that accompanies it in episodes, but in the lyrics as well. It's Meowth singing about how sad it is to be alone, kind of playing on his backstory from the show where he used to be in the streets before finding Team Rocket. It's about being lonely and longing to have friends and to no longer be alone. It's surprisingly sad and probably very relatable to some. I'm not too crazy about it, however, so I'm gonna say this one's a bop. Next we have ending number 3 titled Fantasy in My Pocket, and this one is actually pretty interesting. I immediately thought I was gonna hate this one from the get-go, since the first 10 seconds has a bunch of kids singing about their dreams and shit, and I hate children, especially in music, since their snot-nosed voices ruin a lot of songs. But as the song went on, it became more of a one-on-one between one child and one adult, where they sing to each other about growing up. The kid wishes to grow up fast and become an adult, while the adult wishes to kind of go back to being a kid, and the whole song is this kind of back and forth between the two, asking and answering questions about why they want to be an adult or a child. It plays in this very relatable phenomenon where when you're a kid, all you want to do is be an adult to be free, because that's what you think freedom is. You think adults can just do whatever they want and don't have any responsibilities. But when you're an adult, all you want to do is go back to being a kid when you were actually free and when you actually had no responsibilities and when things were simpler. This relates to the ending lines of the chorus, which go, "The children of the past, the children of the present are always filling their pockets. The boys and girls inside their pockets is a fantasy." Which basically means that no matter the age or generation, people are always going to hold on to these fantasies of what they wish that their lives were like. What this has to do with Pokemon, I will never know. I guess it has to do with the whole following your dreams kind of thing, maybe, but even then that's a little bit vague. What I think would be really cool is if the kid who was originally in this song recreated it today with a new kid, since the original kid is definitely an adult now, and it would add to the message of the song being about a struggle between generations. Lyrically, the song is great, but I'm not too big of a fan of it instrumentally. It sounds like some more Sesame Street shit, which works with the message of the song, but I'm not too huge on it, just like recreationally listening to it. I'll give this one a bop, since it has great lyrics and a great message, but you won't find me singing along anytime soon. Moving on to ending number 4, we have Pokemon Ondo, or Ondo, I don't know how you say it. In case you don't know, Ondo is a type of Japanese folk music that typically has a 2/2 rhythm, usually accompanied by a dance depending on the community you live in. That's right guys, I did research for this video so I don't come off as an absolute invalid, just a partial invalid. But anyways, this song is in the style of traditional Japanese music, and it does a good job at being that. Of course, it's very simplified because 1, it's for a children's show, and 2, because there's Pokemon in it, so take that as you will. Lyrically, it doesn't have a whole lot going on. It kind of exists to teach kids about Ondo. It's not exactly the deepest song out there. This one's gonna be a meh from me because I simply just don't enjoy listening to it. You know, again, like these are some of these songs are kind of hard to listen to like recreationally, but I like what the song stands for. I like what it represents. I like what it's trying to do. If you're into traditional Japanese music, this song might be for you if you're into that kind of thing. Next we have ending 5, Type Wild. There are actually 2 versions of this song, the original sung by Rika Matsumoto and the cover for the Mewtwo Strikes Back remake and the Sun and Moon series sung by Shoko Nakagawa. I'll be reviewing both of them here because they're basically the same song. I technically already talked about this song in the last music review video because there was an official English version of this made, so I'm gonna try to not repeat myself here. Both Japanese versions are great, but I honestly have to give it to the Shoko Nakagawa version because not only is it completely different stylistically, it just feels more triumphant with, you know, like trumpets everywhere, and it matches, you know, the Alolan vibe that it was made for, with the background singers kind of throughout the song. Kind of sounds more like a Hawaiian chant or something. I don't know what I'm talking about. You know, they kind of fill the gaps where there are no vocals. The original kind of gets by this kind of like, you know, lack in vocals by having a great instrumental, but even the English version had some extra vocals going on between the first chorus and second verse. The original version just has this instrumental for this time, well, you know, kind of in between, you know, verses. And while the instrumental is great, it feels like it lacks energy. Now, don't get me wrong. Every single version of this song is an absolute banger, and both were used in some of the best moments of the series. Both are bangers that do the same thing, just differently. So, props to both of them. Ending 6 is up next with Riding on Lapras. You know, very, very thrilling title there. You know, it's really, really, really descriptive. Sung by Misty's Japanese voice actress Mayumi Iizuka, this is a cute song about chilling on a Lapras's back and seeking out adventures. Ain't much more to it than that, but I do like the vibe that it gives off. It's very tropical, very chill, very calming, and I think the ocean sounds in the background kind of help with that, so I'd call it a bop, it's not bad. Next is ending 7, titled Meowth's Party. This ain't nothing like the last Meowth song, this one's a party song, baby. Meowth trades in his acoustic guitar for an electric one as he and Team Rocket sing about the party that they're about to throw. The lyrics aren't all that deep, it's literally just about the party, but it's a very enjoyable listen. The song had a surprising relevance in Western releases, with an English version being made for Pokemon Channel, which I think is pretty cool. You can't always say that for the Japanese songs, you know, they don't always get translated into English. All in all though, I'd say that this one's a bop. It's enjoyable, but I'm not too crazy about it either way. Next are endings 8 and 9, which are 2 different versions of the same song titled Exciting Pokemon Relay. The first version is considered the regular version, while the second version is considered the hard version, with the only difference being that the hard version is faster than the first one, and it has slightly different lyrics. These 2 songs are essentially like challenge songs, if that makes sense. Like, they exist only for kids to try and sing along, but they go so fast that it becomes kind of a tongue twister, hence the challenge. The idea of the song is to kind of relay Pokemon stories together. For example, one of the first lines is, when Pichu released a burst of electricity, the Meowth beside Pikachu gets shocked. And then, when Meowth's skeleton shines through, Cubone thinks it's one of his friends. So they kind of chain together to make one big, like, story, I guess, and I use the term very loosely. As a result, the song isn't all that deep. The hard version certainly lives up to its name, though, as they sing really fucking fast in this. I'm not sure how a kid listening to this could really keep up, honestly. Y'all thought Eminem or Tech9 or Busta Rhymes were the fastest rappers? Y'all got nothing on Exciting Pokemon Relay. Overall, there's not a whole lot of depth to this song. It's really just a fun Pokemon-centric tongue twister challenge for little kids. Not something that I listen to on a frequent basis. I'll call it a bop though, because it's really fucking impressive. They go really fast here. Next is ending 10, titled Takeshi's Paradise, or Brock's Paradise in English. As you might have figured out, this song is about Brock's immense lust for women. But unlike Two Perfect Girls from Totally Pokemon that we talked about in the last music review, this one is actually funny and is played for laughs. Brock's reactions are very over the top, with lines like, "My heart is withering," and you know, shit like that. It's kind of fun. It's got this like Latino vibe to it with like Spanish guitars and maracas and shit used throughout. The ending itself is also where this photo comes from of Brock in stereotypical Mexican attire. Brock is fucking canceled for a cultural appropriation. No, but for real though, this song is really catchy. I'd probably listen to it again on purpose It's a bop. Ending number 11 is titled To My Best Friend, and oh my god, this song fucked me up hard. It's this friendship ballad about Ash and Pikachu from Ash's perspective, with lyrics about the good times they have traveling together, and the way it's delivered is enough to make a grown man cry. The final line of the song is the most fitting in my opinion. It goes, "So I want to walk on with you on the road that continues forever," which seems to be what inspired the title of Let's Walk Together for movie 20, which we'll get to later. We'll get to that later in the video. But the point is, this shit slaps hard. The dynamic of Ash and Pikachu is one that is central to the show, and I honestly don't think that they acknowledge that enough in other material. Like, there was an episode recently in Pokemon Journeys where Pikachu gets mad at Ash and they eventually make up at the end, and this song would have fit so fucking nicely into that episode. This is the kind of song that you'd think that they'd use more throughout the series, like they do with some of the other endings, like Type Wild and stuff, but this one is highly underrated. Slaps hard. Next up is ending 12, Face Forward Team Rocket. This song is entertaining in a few ways. For one, the song itself is very goofy, with the instrumental and delivery of the lyrics really capturing that. Then you read the lyrics and you realize this whole song is just Team Rocket not wanting to be failures. The first verse is them not caring about their jobs and ignoring business meetings in favor of eating food, while the second verse is them breaking the fourth wall and saying, hey, get this fucking kid out of here, make us the leaders. And it's pretty funny. I'd say it slaps, it's very funny, definitely would listen to again. Lastly, for the original series endings, we have ending 13 titled Pocketering Monstering. The title alone triggers the absolute fuck out of me, because every time I'm playing Pokemon and my mom walks in, she asks, are you Pokemoning? And I fucking cringe internally every time. Pokemon is not to be used as a verb in any context. Please fucking stop this. Anyways, this song is very similar in premise to What Kind of Pokemon for You from To Be a Master, as it describes all of the different types of Pokemon based on their physiology. It doesn't specifically name any Pokemon, but that's kind of on purpose, as the main message of the song seems to be about variation in people, celebrating our differences, as it were. Pretty wholesome message, and it's sung by a young-sounding girl, so that makes it even more wholesome, I guess. There's this violin that plays during certain points of the song, and it gives me kind of like a country music vibe in a way, which is certainly different from some of the other endings we've had so far. I don't know if that's accurate to say it's country music sounding, but I'm a fucking idiot dolt who doesn't understand music, so this song is a bop, a little bit childish, but not bad. And now we're getting into the Advanced Generation endings with ending 14, Because the Sky is There. Right off the bat, I don't know what instrument that is. Maybe it's a pan flute or something like that. I don't know. I have brain worms when it comes to music. But what I do know is that this shit sounds distinctly Japanese, and it's fucking peaceful as hell. Hell's not very peaceful. That's a bad analogy. The song kind of gave me Breath of the Wild vibes, if you catch my drift. You know, it kind of captures this tranquil pre- or post-adventure kind of feeling. Lyrically, this song is wholesome as fuck. It's more of that, you know, kind of don't dwell on the past, but look to the future message that we've seen in some of the other endings. But this one kind of really dwells on the idea that your failures don't really define you, and that it's only human to fail, and it's okay as long as you get back up and try again. It's the kind of song that you listen to after a hard day, just to kind of get some motivation back, but in kind of like a different way that something like, say, X, Y, and Z would. Overall, this one slaps, but you won't see me bumping this one in my car. I'll tell you that much. Next is ending 15, Polka Oldoka. It's not for me, dog. This one is another Meowth song singing about dancing the polka. Now, Japanese polka must be different from American polka or something, because this does not give me the old head vibe that something like Pokemon from the movie 2000 soundtrack gave me, and I only like that song because Weird Al was in it. But this ending doesn't have anything of the sort. It heavily utilizes the sitar, or maybe that's not a sitar. I don't know. I don't know music. I've established this already. It sounds pretty cool. It gives off this like authentic Japanese sound, but I can't get into it. It's a fun song. I can tell that was the vibe they were going for, but I can't bring myself to like it. The chorus in particular was very annoying to me. I'm gonna put this one in the trash pile, but again, if you like it, that's fine. This is just my opinion. This is my fucking stupid ass take. Moving on to ending 16, we have Smile. This is another slow jam ballad type song about working hard to overcome your weaknesses, similarly to Because the Sky is There from earlier. What makes this song unique, though, is the title, which is used throughout the song. It reminds you that a smile is kind of all you need to remind yourself that you can make it through, and I think that's pretty fucking wholesome. The pipe organ, or whatever instrument that is that they use in the background of the song, I don't know instruments, I'm dumb. Whatever it is, it reminds me of Comme Tu Ser Tad from End of Evangelion, so shout out to my depressed motherfuckers out there. Low-key, Smile is almost a very positive version of that song, though that may be a pretty cringe hot take from me. Either way, this one's pretty good. I'd say it slaps, even though it's not the kind of thing I'd listen to on like a daily basis. Next is ending 17, titled Full of Summer. It's very similar in premise to the black and white opening Summerly Slope, in that it's all about having a fun time during the summer, you know, enjoying the season and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't really try to be deep or insightful or anything like that. The lyrics aren't very meaningful at all, but they're not supposed to be. It's a fun song for kids. And that's really all it needs to be. The song it's a bit of an earworm. It'll get stuck in your head pretty easily, and I don't really mind that one bit. It's not my favorite ending song or anything. In fact, I still hate Children, but I wouldn't mind listening to it again. I'll call it a bop. Next is ending 18, titled Glory Day, That Shining Day. I hate that title. It's so fucking redundant. This song is similar to Smile and Because the Sky is There in its messaging, where it's about believing in oneself to reach one's goal. Unlike those two songs though, this one is more mellow in its composition, where it's got a slower tempo but still manages to be positive with its instrumentation and vocal delivery, giving it a very hopeful feeling. It works great as an ending song and as a good song in general, but I'm just not too huge on it. It's a bop for me. After that is ending 19, Pokemon Counting Song. As you may have guessed from the title, this is an educational counting song for tiny babies. This song is also an ondo, much like Pokemon Ondo from original series, and you can definitely tell because they sound very similar. I don't like this song at all, but I burst into uncontrollable laughter when they used the yo sound effect in the song. Like, it caught me just completely off guard and I wasn't expecting it. So just for that, I will bump it up from a trash to a meh. And lastly, for the Advanced Generation endings, we have I Won't Lose, Haruka's theme, or Mei's theme. This song seems to have started the trend that other series would follow in the future, where the main female protagonist would get her own theme song, and for Mei, this was it. The song is like this upbeat synth rock type song that you wouldn't really think of when you think of Mei as a character, but I think it works. The song is from her perspective, proclaiming how she won't lose and will become a top coordinator, and it's not very subtle about that fact, but that's totally fine. The song was also used as an insert in several episodes of the anime, notably in the episode where Mei comes to Sinnoh in Diamond and Pearl. I wasn't expecting to like this song. In fact, it wasn't what I expected at all, but I think it still slaps. Moving on to the Diamond and Pearl endings, we actually have a 3-for-1 special here. Endings 21 through 23 are all different versions of the same song, that song being By Your Side, Hikari's theme, or Dawn's theme, with the original, the pop-up version, and the winter version. Lyrically, the song is more of your kind of typical Pokemon stuff, you know, following your dreams, believing in yourself, conquering challenges with your friends. It's pretty basic stuff, but the delivery is very high energy and it captures the character pretty well. The original version of this song is soft rock with electric guitars, the main instrument, with some synths used throughout. The pop-up version is a lot more produced and embraces the synth pop-like sound, while the winter version uses stuff like sleigh bells and stuff that makes it sound very wintry, almost like a Christmas song. All three versions are distinct from each other and are all pretty good. They're all very enjoyable listens. I'd say that all three of them slap. And now we've got another 2-for-1 with endings 24 and 25, Message of the Wind, with the original version and the Poka Poka version. Something I've noticed with a lot of the Diamond and Pearl endings is that riding the wind, or wind in general, is a motif that pops up frequently, and this song is no exception. It's a song about striving to do great things, you know, chasing the wind, as it were, which is pretty typical of Pokemon. The original version of this song is very generic soft rock with some synths thrown in there, though it does have a very 1950s sounding chord progression, which is kind of neat. The Poka Poka version is essentially a 16-bit remix, where the beat is very reminiscent of like a Genesis game, or something like that. And the vocals for this version are actually performed by Gardenelia, who you may know from the second Kill la Kill opening, which is a banger in its own right. Message of the Wind is pretty decent. It captures the Sinnoh motif really well, and I quite enjoy listening to it. So I'd say it slaps. Next is ending 26, Surely Tomorrow. This song sounds like something straight out of Poke Park Wii. I don't know if you guys have played this game, but it sounds like it's straight out of this game. It's got this kind of simple, kid-friendly aura about it, you know? It's almost exclusively a little piano melody with vocals over it, you know? It's a cute song, let's put it that way. Lyrically, it details the story of someone who is sad and lonely and then finding a friend that they can share their life with, and it's presented in an incredibly wholesome way. One thing I don't like though is the Japanese onomatopoeia for whistling. My filthy American ears just can't comprehend it. How do you listen to a whistle, right? And it comes out as like fucking what? Like, that bothered me for like an incredibly petty reason. I have no idea why. But other than that, the song is, like I said, very cute, and I don't really have any major qualms with it. It's just not something I'd listen to frequently. It's a bop. Next is ending 27, titled Get Fired Up, Spiky-Eared Pichu. Not only does this song exist purely to advertise the Spiky-Eared Pichu event, and likely the Arceus movie, but I can't fucking stand it. It's too cutesy, it's too fast, it's kind of annoying. It just sounds very overproduced with all these sound effects throughout the song. It literally gave me a headache. It gave me like sensory overload. It's not for me. Y'all can like it, feel free to like it. If you want. I'm calling it trash. I don't like it. After that is ending 28, called Which One Is It? This song is very similar to What Kind of Pokemon Are You from To Be a Master, in that it's about Pokemon and what they do. Most of the song is a little Pokemon name game type thing, where they take two Pokemon names that sound like phonetically similar, such as Bibarel and Weedle, whose Japanese names are Biadaru and Bidaru, and questioning which is which. It probably works better with the visuals, but I only listen to the actual song itself, so fuck it. Instrumental is very nice. It has a very deserty vibe, like a Mario Sand level, but other than that, I'm not feeling it. It's meh. And lastly, for the Diamond and Pearl endings, we have ending 29, In Your Heart, La La La. This song is more of that following your dream stuff that we've come to expect, and it continues with that wind motif of the other Diamond and Pearl songs. The beat sounds like a late 90s, early 2000s pop track, which is really cool. You know, the main melody of the song is really catchy, and it gets stuck in your head really easily. Overall, there's not a whole lot to say about this one. It's got a generic yet nice message that I really like, and it's really catchy. Sometimes catchy is really all you need. This one slaps. This chair sucks whole. There we go. We'll sit in it like crisscross applesauce, like a fucking dumbass. Now we're getting into the black and white ending, starting with ending 30, Fanfare of the Heart. I honestly didn't expect to like this one as much as I did, but it's actually not bad. It's got this kind of triumphant instrumental with this very kind of military sounding snare, and these bells and chimes that give it this feeling of like coming home after a long journey. It almost sounds like a song from the Diamond and Pearl games, weirdly enough. Like it kind of has that kind of vibe. The vocals assist in this with the way the singer delivers her lines. It seems very like introspective. You know, the lyrics are very similar to a lot of the other songs we've been talking about. A lot of stuff about chasing your dreams and getting stronger. You know, we kind of expect this kind of stuff by now. Overall, it's pretty good. I wasn't a huge fan of the bridge, but the rest of the song is good enough to where it doesn't really bother me. I'll say it's a bop for now, but it might grow on me a little bit more in the future if I listen to it when I listen to it more. Next is ending 31, titled Can You Name All the Pokemon, Black and White. This song is essentially the closest thing we have to a Japanese poker rap, as it's literally just listing off Pokemon names to a beat. More specifically, all the Pokemon introduced in Gen 5 minus the mythicals. Apparently, there's an original version with the original 151 Pokemon from Gen 1 that this song is a reference to, so that's cool too. The instrumental is this, you know, techno kind of like 8-bit kind of thing going on. It fits pretty well, you know, as naming off Pokemon is kind of very robotic in a way. Not as hype as the English poker rap, but it's still an entertaining listen. It's a bop. Next is ending 32, Seven Colored Arch. This title is an obvious reference to a rainbow. You know, it's an arch with 7 colors, so it's gonna be one of those songs. It's more typical Pokemon stuff, you know, following your dreams, picking yourself up when you're down, that kind of stuff. It's like that song Somewhere Over the Rainbow from The Wizard of Oz in its premise, you know, chasing the rainbow is used as a metaphor for chasing your dreams. The song is kind of this, you know, inspirational ballad where the verses are much quieter, you know, they're very somber in a way, but it becomes this triumphant proclamation of your dreams during the chorus. This is done by the vocal delivery coupled with this almost orchestral instrumental, making it a very positive yet emotional track. I like it, but it probably needs a little bit more time to grow on me. It's a bop. After that is ending 33, Look Here. This is a straight up dance song, no question about it. There's no substance to it at all. It's just a dance song for little kids to dance along to, you know? The ending itself with the visuals is literally just this. It's Meloetta's dance with this song. While I'm not a huge fan of it, it's pretty catchy. It does give me like caramel dancing vibes. It's a cute little techno dance song. I've been saying techno in this video a lot. I don't know if techno is even really a thing anymore. Overall though, there's not much to it. It's catchy, but not my thing. Bop. From one cute song to the next, we have ending 32 titled Sakura Go Around. This is a song from a kid's perspective about the feeling you get when spring starts up again. This is referenced in the song via the sakura tree or cherry blossom, which are those pink trees that you may have seen in anime before, which bloom in the spring and are very symbolic of that in Japan. You know, the pink petals kind of fall down, and it's kind of supposed to be symbolic of spring. The kids in this song make a lot of references to school, which isn't a very Pokemon-centric thing. I don't know why they would do that, but at its core, it's a song about change told through the innocent lens of a child watching the seasons change. It has some great symbolism in its lyrics, but much like the last song, it's a little too cutesy for me. I'll call this one a bop. And lastly, for the black and white endings, we have ending 35, Let's Join Hands. Honestly, this is my favorite of the black and white best wishes, whatever you want to call it, endings, and generally one of the most iconic Pokemon endings so far. The song, production-wise, is a lot like some of the other black and white endings. You know, these very artificial sound, it's very much a J-pop track, and you could easily tell without having known that already. I think the flow of the lyrics is super catchy. You know, I got the chorus stuck in my head after hearing it. I don't know how the actual words go. I don't know how they go. Yeah, that. Sounds like that. Where I think this song shines the best, though, is in its lyrics. It's got that typical Pokemon message of never giving up, believing in yourself, and following your dreams and all that stuff, but it's done through the lens of friendship. That no matter what your goals are or how helpless you feel, that if you have friends to help you, you can overcome that. The song takes it even further with the message that if everyone were to just peacefully join hands and be nice to each other, that we'd have a much better society where everyone can just help each other out and with, you know, really no qualms. You know, it's a bit naive of a message, but it's a very important message nonetheless. In terms of the ending itself, with the visuals and all that, it's one of the coolest Pokemon endings, with every one of Ash's friends and rivals from the entire series up until that point all kind of holding hands and singing fucking Kumbaya together. It's wholesome and it's a nice nod to the older fans. Overall, this is one of the better Pokemon endings. It slaps. Next we have our first X and Y ending, number 36, titled X Straight Y Scenery. Kind of a strange name, but whatever. So by looking at the lyrics to this song, I can only assume that it's some kind of Japanese word game or something like that. Because the premise of this song is that they take a Pokemon name and then they play around with the first syllable, making different words out of it. It's an interesting concept and it's very similar to many of the previous endings thus far, but it's still pretty childish. Granted, Pokemon is a kid's show, so again, whatever. The instrumental is kind of your generic J-pop instrumental, but it's not bad, and the vocals are actually very good as well. I'm not too big on this one though. It just sounds very generic in general to me. I'll say it's a bop. Next is ending 37, Peace Smile. I'm not too big on this one either, as it shares much of the generic J-pop nature of the previous ending. It's not bad, I like the sound of it, but it feels like every other J-pop song, you know? A lot of bass with a lot of synths and beeps and boops in there. I feel like I've heard this a million times. I do like the flow on the vocals though, that's pretty good. Lyrically, this is a friendship song. It's your generic Pokemon song stuff of I can do anything when I'm together with my friends and shit like that. I like that kind of message. It's nice and wholesome, and I've kind of come to expect it at this point from the Pokemon endings. This one's gonna be a bop from me. Now the rest of this video may seem incredibly biased because unlike the openings that I had listened to without watching the show in Japanese, I only listened to the endings when they came up on the show. And I didn't start watching the show in Japanese until partway through X and Y. So I have a bit of nostalgia around some of these. With that said, let's get into ending 38, Dream Dream. While the previous two endings were J-pop, this one is more J-rock, but like pop rock? I'm not really sure. I'm not too good with genres, as you guys could probably tell. Regardless, it's got a more tangible sound to it. It's got a very memorable melody. In the show, this song was essentially Serena's theme, and when you look at the lyrics, it's clear to see why. It's not really all that obvious until the chorus and the second verse, but the song can be seen as from Serena's perspective about how she doesn't really have a defined goal until pretty far into the series, and it's through her bonding with her Pokemon that she learns to find her true purpose. It's also got that more, you know, generic kind of follow your dream stuff in there that you kind of could have guessed from the title, you know, Dream. It's about following your dream, makes sense. The song is performed by Shoko Nakagawa, and if you're familiar with her, then you know what you're getting into here. But there was also a remix performed by Mayuki Makaguchi, which is Serena's English voice actress, in character as Serena, which was used as an insert in an episode of, in a special variant ending that was used one time only in an episode. I don't really think I can do this song justice just by kind of describing it to you, you know, like this. So I recommend listening to it for yourself, as I would for, you know, every song I talk about. I would recommend you do that for every song in this video, but to me this one's an absolute banger, no cap. Next is ending 39, Roaring All-Stars. I mentioned this one briefly in my last Pokemon music review, and that's only because there was a pseudo-English version made. But now, we get to talk about the original. First thing to note, this song is super fucking simple. The Japanese lyrics are very simple, the flow is very simple, the beat itself is very simple. It is a children's song for tiny babies, plain and simple, but goddamn, it's the most fun children's song I've heard in a while. Despite its incredibly childish and simple nature, it is super danceable. Once that chorus kicks in, I am gone, bro. It's over for you, hoes. The lyrics lack a lot of depth, but the rest of the song makes up for it by being just plain fun to listen to. The song slaps pretty fucking hard. And now we have the last true X and Y ending, because after this there are a bunch of one-time endings, but the next is ending 40, Pony-chan's song, which in English would be Squishy's song. This is a song that works better in the context of the show when it's used as an insert, and better when it's used as an ending. Not so much as just a song on its own. The song is Bonnie singing about how much she loves Pony-chan, aka Squishy in the dub, aka the Zygarde Corps that traveled around with them for X, Y, and Z. It's cute as fuck, but there's really not much more to it than that. The instrumental is different in that it has this little marching band thing going on, but that's part of the reason I'm not into it. I'm not trying to hear a small child sing a song about a fictional monster with a marching band in the background. I'm just not trying to hear that. It works well as an insert, especially the sad version in the Team Flare arc. Not really as a song on its own. It's a meh from me. And now we get into some of the one-time endings. I don't know whether to count them as main endings or not, but whatever, these numbers were fucked like 30 songs ago, so whatever. Who cares about numbers anymore? Numbers are meaningless. Next is Team Rocket's team song, though if you were to look that up, you probably would not find it, because I know I didn't. So it's also known as Roketto Dan Danka. This song is kind of all over the place. It starts off very menacing, you know, we got this kind of Imperial March thing going on. Some heavy metal sounding guitars almost. It's pretty fucking intense, honestly. By the end of the song, there's this really kind of inspiring section before they end the song completely with the Team Rocket motto. This weird tone actually fits with the song, as lyrically the song is Jesse, James, and Meowth spouting off about how great Team Rocket is while simultaneously talking about their failures and being goofy in typical Team Rocket fashion. There's some classic Team Rocket stuff right here, and it fits so well that the instrumental for the song was used well into Sun and Moon. It's not bad, but I think I'd prefer something like Double Trouble from To Be a Master, though I do think it should have been used more than just a one-time only kind of ending. Either way, it's a bop. Next ending is Brilliantly, aka Kira Kira, aka Clement's theme, and it slaps pretty fucking hard. In terms of composition, this song seems very similar to Dream Dream. The instrumental is very similar, just less kind of artificial, and of course the flow on the lyrics is different with a different singer. But I just couldn't help but notice the comparisons there, because they're very similar songs. Lyrically is where this song shines though. Pun partially intended. This song is Clement's theme for a reason, as the song is from the perspective of someone who may not be the most confident person, but it's with the help and support of their friends that they are able to truly shine and make it through life, which I think fits Clement's character pretty well. The original version is performed by Tomohisa Sako, but there's also a version performed by Clement's Japanese voice actor Yuki Kaji, which I actually think is better than the original, but that's neither here nor there. It's kind of hard to convey in words, but I just think the song slaps. I like listening to it. It feels good in my fucking ear holes. Next is Pikachu's song, and I fucking hate it. Now, if you've noticed with the X and Y songs, each main character gets their own theme as an ending, with Ash getting the opening, and this is part of an album titled, get this right, hold on, it's a mouthful. Pocket Monsters X, Y, and Z TV Anime Character Song Project Collection, where they give each character a song, and many of them were performed by the voice actors in character. This is Pikachu's, and it's literally just Ikue Otani, the very talented and iconic voice of Pikachu, just saying Pikachu over and over again to a marching drum beat. It's cute, but only for so long. After like 30 seconds, it gets really grating and really annoying. This is gonna be a trash from me, dog. And last for the X and Y endings is Meowth's ballad. This is very similar to Meowth's song from way back, and the ending pays homage to this in the visuals, but it's very much a completely different song. While Meowth's song from the original series was more introspective about Meowth's loneliness, Meowth's ballad is completely different in that it's about togetherness. It's got that, you know, we all live on the same planet, so we might as well act like it type thing going on, which actually draws parallels to what Meowth says in the first Pokemon movies, though that might just be a dub change. I'm not sure if that was actually in the original Japanese. This song truly is a ballad though, as after the first verse, all the backing instruments come in to kind of complement Meowth's guitar, and it makes for a truly emotional experience. Personally, I think it slaps. What's with Meowth being like the Kermit the Frog of Pokemon? I want to hear this feline fucker sing the fucking Rainbow Connection. And now we're in the final stretch here with the Sun and Moon ending, starting with Pose. This song is kind of all over the place. It's got this weird mix of artificial sounds with actual instruments, making it sound both futuristic and tropical at the same time, which I think fits really well with Alola and this very unique sound that I don't think I've heard before. The vocalist is also hilarious in the way that he puts emphasis on different syllables and he plays around with his voice a little bit, which makes the song pretty funny at times. The title, Pose, obviously is a reference to Z moves, which have you striking a pose to perform in battle, and most of the lyrics reflect this with allusions to all of the different types of Pokemon and the Z moves associated with each type. I just spit all over myself like an actual brainlet. But the chorus is actually really wholesome and insightful about making childhood memories and remembering them as an adult, and the song itself plays this completely straight with no jokes or funny voices at all, so it comes off as pretty genuine. Overall, I really like this ending because when it's serious, it hits, but when it's not serious, it's still fun. I think this one's a banger. The next ending is titled Twerp Twerpette, and it's okay. You'd think with a title like that it'd be from Team Rocket's perspective or something like that, but it actually seems to be more from Ash's perspective, with references to Pallet Town and the general attitude of the song being much more in line with Ash's personality. The verses are about having fun and enjoying life during the day, and the melancholic feeling that you get when the day is over. But the chorus is about that sense of adventure and your typical Pokemon stuff of following your dreams and having your friends to back you up when you mess up. The song also sounds much more tropical than the last song, which fits Alola really well. Anything tropical really fits Alola because it's the tropical region. Overall, this wasn't really a favorite of mine or anything, but it's a decent listen. It slaps. And lastly, for the Sun and Moon endings, we have Notebook of the Heart. It's not for me, dog. The song seems like it's going to be this really emotional ballad with just the piano in the background at first, but then the singing starts and it's my least favorite thing in music, a choir of children. And I won't lie, these kids are pretty damn good singers, but I just don't like the sound of children choirs, and I especially don't like the operatic sound that they produce. It's not bad, I just don't like it. That's really the only thing that I dislike about the song though, as the piano is effective and the lyrics are genuinely pretty deep while still having that Pokemon message of following your dreams. It certainly isn't a bad song, it's just the singing isn't really for me. If you're into that sort of thing, then this may be the song for you, but it's a meh from me. We're gonna be skipping Type Wild because we already talked about it earlier, so let's move on to the last of the Pokemon endings that we're gonna be talking about today. Pokemon Shiritori, the current ending for the 2019 series. There are technically two versions of this ending, but they both use the same song, just different verses of it, so I'll be counting it as one song because it is one song. So just for some context, Shiritori is a Japanese word game in which you chain words together, where the last syllable of the last word becomes the first syllable of the next word, and you continue to chain words together until someone ends a word with a predetermined letter or syllable. For example, in this song, you would start with Mew, then you go to Wargle, then Rumpapa, and then so on until somebody ends with an N, like Zacian, you lose. But if you make it to the intended Pokemon like Zamazenta, you win. This really only works in Japanese though, just because of how the language works. This song is basically just this Shiritori word game, but in song form. It's got this techno beat to it, which isn't bad and it fits with the song. But as Eminem once said, ain't nobody listen to techno. The lyrics aren't deep at all, it's literally just Pokemon names chained together as we already established, and the chorus is just an explanation of the rules of Shiritori, so it's really not all that life-changing of a song. It's a fun song, and maybe it's just because I've been watching Pokemonsters 2019 week to week and I'm used to it, but it's really grown on me. It slaps. So that has been every Pokemon anime ending song up until now, and while there's a lot of variety here, there's only a few that I really truly enjoy. My favorites here had to be Message of the Wind, both versions of Type Wild, Dream Dream, Let's Join Hands, and Pose. While I wasn't too big on many of the more kid-centric endings like Puni-chan's song or Pokemon Ondo, however, I did find some new gems in this bunch like Meowth's Ballad, Because the Sky is There, and Fantasy in My Pocket, which I didn't think I'd actually like, but ended up actually really growing on me, and I found something to appreciate in them. Overall, the Pokemon endings are typically very similar in concept. They're very wholesome little tunes with wholesome Pokemon-related messages that close out the episode. And they each do that pretty well. Definitely go check some of these out. I hate this chair. This chair was a bad idea. And now let's get into the ending songs for the Pokemon movies. Much like we did last time, we'll be judging the movie endings based on how well the song fits with the themes of the movie, and of course, if the song itself is even good in general. So, let's get into it. The first song is Together with the Wind from Mewtwo Strikes Back, which was also remixed for the 3D remake in 2019, so we'll be reviewing both of them as one, since the two versions aren't all that different from each other anyways. This song is very much meant to be an inspirational ballad type song, with its very orchestral instrumental, yet the vocals seem very subdued, but in like in a good way. When you read the lyrics, the message of the song seems to be about seeking out your dreams, but also about the self-doubt that comes with that. At first, the subject of the song seems very unsure about what to do or where to go, but after finding a friend, they walk together with the wind. See, I said it. I said the title of the song in the song. This song also works pretty well as an ending for the movie because it can apply to both Ash and Mewtwo. For Ash, it's obviously that he left Pallet Town to become a Pokemon Master and then truly solidified that when he met Pikachu. While for Mewtwo, it could be interpreted as that he lacked purpose at the start of the movie and comes to a revelation at the end where he turns over a new leaf. I might be stretching a bit there, but it's a possibility. Another cool thing about this song is that the main melody of it is sampled in Type Wild, and you guys know how much I love Type Wild, so that's a major plus for me. The only thing I really don't like about Together with the Wind is that it's kind of a boring song. Like, the emotion is there, and I respect it for that, but the song is very slow in tempo, and it doesn't really pick up until like halfway through. But other than that, I think the song is quite good. I'd say it slaps. Next is the ending song to Pokemon the Movie 2000 titled Toe et Moi, which is French for you and me. Let me tell you guys, this song is a bitch and a half to find. I couldn't find a regular version of it or a clean rip of it on YouTube at all, so I had to find an allegedly illegal streaming site to find a subbed version of the movie with the song at the end, and, you know, to listen to the song itself. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Apparently, the artist who recorded it didn't really want to be associated with the song and didn't want to be associated with Pokemon, so it's kind of hard to find, at least on YouTube anyways. But anyways, the song itself is actually not that bad. It's got this late 90s, early 2000s kind of pop vibe to the instrumental, but it's also not so in your face or anything like that. Like, it's pretty, like, tame, if that makes any sense. The beat doesn't change a whole lot throughout the song, so it kind of falls flat on what I assume were meant to be emotional moments. The singing is also kind of the same, where it's good, but it doesn't quite pack the emotional punch that you'd really expect. As for the lyrics and meaning, the song seems to be about overcoming loneliness, but also about embracing fate, which at first glance doesn't seem to really relate to the movie at all. but when you think about it, that actually kind of does. One of the major plot points of the film is that Ash is the chosen one. You know, he can't really change that, so he has to learn to embrace it, and at the same time, he has to learn that he doesn't have to do that alone. He doesn't have to achieve his goals alone. I don't know, might be a stretch, but it makes sense to me. Overall, though, I'm not really too fond of this song. It's not really bad by any means, I just think it lacks the emotion that you would really need out of like an end credit song, and while the meaning is there, it's a little bit vague. It's still a bop, but I'll take the dub ending any day. The next ending song is from movie 3 titled The Day a Rainbow Was Born. This song also has an English version for some reason called Just Like a Rainbow, but I'll be focusing on the original Japanese. The instrumental to this song is pretty basic, nothing to really write home about, but it really kind of hits when it needs to for the emotional punch. The vocals are also really good. They have this kind of soul type feel to them. It even gets kind of operatic at certain points, which I'm not too fond of, but it's still impressive nonetheless. Similarly to the last song, this one is kind of about loneliness, but this time almost exclusively about loneliness and really nothing else. There are lines throughout the song that allude to the subject being lonely and isolated before finding the hope that they can overcome that loneliness and that isolation. This goes pretty hand in hand with Molly's arc in movie 3, where she's so afraid of being alone that she causes the main conflict of the film before realizing that she's never really truly alone, because that she has people in her life to be with her. The English version of the song is a pretty faithful translation of the original, but they add in a lot of extra lyrics about like following your dreams and stuff that just kind of doesn't really seem to fit to me. It just seems like it's kind of in there to fill time and to kind of, you know, sync up with the Japanese vocals. The English version is actually performed by the same person who did the original Japanese version, singer Kimiko Mori, who you may remember from that episode of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. A bit of a deep cut, I know. But the fact that it's the same singer doing both versions makes the English version seem not all that much closer to the original in terms of like the sound of it. Overall, the song is pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of some of the stylistic choices in it, but I still enjoyed it. I'll say it slaps. The next ending song is Please Let There Be Good Weather Tomorrow from movie 4, which with a title like that, you'd think it's a fucking Fall Out Boy song. Wait, did I use that joke already? This song is actually a far cry from that though, as it's mostly this acoustic yet old-timey Japanese sounding track that uses a lot of different stringed instruments like guitars, harps, and other stuff that I'm really too dumb to identify. The instrumental combined with the flow of the singer gives the song this kind of like older feel. You know, it sounds like some traditional Japanese song while still feeling modern at the same time. I think that works actually pretty well with the themes of the movie, as one of the major themes of Pokemon Forever was that distinction between the past and the present. The other major theme of this movie is in regards to how we treat nature, and that is also reflected in this song with lines that describe the clouds or the rivers or the insects, and the title of the song itself is alluding to the fact that they hope that there's good weather so that they continue enjoying nature, you know what I mean? While I can certainly appreciate this song's themes in relation to the film, it's gonna be a bop only for me, as I'm not really into the whole vibe of the song in its whole. I respect the way that it sounds, but it's not something that I'd listen to frequently, you know what I mean? Finally, a song that isn't a slow jam. Now we have the ending song to Pokemon Heroes titled You're Not Alone. One of the main shticks of this movie is the setting, with the city being heavily inspired by Venice, Italy. This song really captures that kind of vibe, as it sounds exactly like something that you'd hear on like a gondola ride through that city or something, you know? I'm Italian, so that's totally real, that's totally accurate. I totally know what I'm fucking talking about here. Lyrically, the song is about loneliness, just like the last 3 songs. What the fuck is this? But it also has hints of finding someone to kind of share your heart with, as the song puts it. So it kind of sticks out in that regard. This actually fits well with Latios in the movie, who is constantly lonely despite having Latios there with her, so it kind of creates this I'm lonely even though I'm not really alone type of thing. Overall, I really like the style of the song, and the lyrics are pretty good, so it'll be a slap from me. Next is the ending song from movie 6 titled A Small Thing, but is better known by Chisaki Mono. Even dub-only fans are familiar with this song, as it's one of the few Japanese tracks to be used in the dub, although it was remixed by replacing the first half of it with like an English cover, creating Make-A-Wish, which we all know is the dub ending song, which we talked about in the last music review. This song is pretty much the exact same song as Make-A-Wish, just with the entire thing in Japanese instead of half English. The Japanese lyrics are actually very different from the English ones, where the English version is all about, you know, making a wish, while the Japanese version is more about returning to a simpler time and finding your own path, with really no allusions to like wishing or anything like that. Since I already kind of talked about this song in the last review, I don't feel I need to really go all that in depth here, but the song's a banger. No explanation needed. Moving on to movie 7, we have the song Lovely, Dream Seeing Lovely Boy, which is not only the longest song title I've ever seen, but it's also the gayest. You know, I'm not saying that even as like an insult in any way, I'm just saying that being gay is somehow less gay than this song title. Either way, this shit ain't for me, dog. It's some generic J-pop kind of stuff. It's not bad, it's actually kind of catchy, but it's just not for me. Lyrically, the song is about going on adventures and making friends and shit like that. You You know, typical Pokemon stuff, and while that's all fine and dandy, it has nothing to do with the movie it's from. It has nothing to do with Destiny Deoxys, so I have really no clue why they made this one the ending song. It's gonna be a meh from me. Next is Movie 8, Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, and its ending song titled Song of Origin. This song is actually performed by the pop duo Puffy Amiyumi, who you may know from the 2003 Teen Titans series, as they performed the intro, and this was their kind of first foray into Pokemon. Despite being a pop group, this song seems more like soft rock to me, which is completely fine by me. It sounds pretty good. The song is about going on adventures with your friends and the power that friendship can have in realizing one's true purpose, with the last line of the song showing this best, which reads, "There's a hero in all of us," with their use of the word hero in this instance being a metaphor for finding your true purpose. I think this message works pretty well with the film, as part of Lucario's arc in that movie is that he learns to trust people and that he doesn't have to do everything alone. Of course, this also works with the Pokemon franchise as a whole. You guys kind of get the gist of that by now. Overall, this song slaps, though. I think if I gave it more time to grow on me, I think it'd probably be a banger in my eyes. And lastly, for the Advanced Generation movies, we have the ending song from the Manaphy movie titled A Thing to Be Protected. This one is a straight up ballad, no question about it. The instrumental is mostly just a simple beat with the vocals carrying the song most of the time, but after the first chorus it becomes very orchestral and quite emotional. Lyrically, the song starts off pretty dark, talking about losing someone and broken promises, and then the chorus is about longing to get that person back and swearing to protect that person when they do eventually get back. This relates to the movie in that May and Manaphy's relationship became very similar to the one described in the song. You know, May just kind of wants to protect Manaphy, and it takes a good portion of the movie for her to actually say goodbye. Even when they do finally part ways, they still kind of live on in each other's memories, which is commented on in the final line of the song. Much like the previous song that we talked about, I like it, but I think it needs more time to kind of grow on me. So I'll say it slaps. Now we get into the Diamond and Pearl movie, starting with the Rise of Darkrei's ending song, I Will Be With You. There's two interesting things about this song. One, it's the only Japanese ending song that is sung completely in English, and even then, they still didn't carry that over to the dub. And two, this song is actually a cover of a song called Where the Lost Ones Go by Sissel. Who the fuck is Sissel? I don't know who that is. This cover is a duet between Sarah Brightman and Chris Thompson, and their performances are kind of hit or miss for me. Brightman has some pretty impressive range, but she gets a little bit operatic at certain points, and I'm just really kind of not too into that, while Thompson is pretty generic, no offense. The two singers do have chemistry though, so they work much better together than they do kind of on their own. In terms of the instrumental, this song sounds like it's straight out of the 80s. It's kind of like an 80s love ballad or something like that, and I dig it. I think it works pretty well. Lyrically, the song is similar to the last one, where it's about loss, but realizing that the people you lost are kind of still with you. Of course, the message of this song relates to the movie, in that the song from Alice's grandmother stops the conflict, showing that Alicia was able to live on through her song for all those years, while it also works in regards to Darkrai himself, who everybody thinks is dead at the end of the movie, but he's still there, he's still watching. Overall, it's a decent track, but I'm not really all that into it, so I'll say it's a bop. Next is the ending song for movie 11, titled One, in all caps. It's all caps. Pretty sure we've seen a song like that before, I'm not sure. Despite sharing the title with a song from the English movie 2000 soundtrack, this song is its own entity. The beat is pretty generic, you know, typical pop instrumental, but it's not overproduced to the point where it gives you like sensory fucking overload. The vocals really take center stage here, and rightfully so, because the singer goes pretty fucking hard. She goes pretty hard. She adds a lot of emotion to the song. The song is about friendship and the possibility that a friendship could be something a little bit more than that. It doesn't really have much to do with the movie's themes of respecting nature, but it does hold some parallels to Shaman, I guess, who slowly becomes better friends with the main cast throughout the movie. Shaman, being the gratitude Pokemon, also gives credence to this line from the song that reads, "Thank you, my one." Overall, this song slaps pretty hard. Like, it's almost banger territory for me, but it's still kind of new, so again, I need a little bit more time with that one. Next up is the Arceus movie and its ending song, Antenna of the Heart. I'm not too big on this one. For starters, the instrumental is very simple with very little going on with it. They kind of have this like 8-bit sound going on throughout, and it sounds like the fucking Duck Hunt theme. I can't like unhear that, but anyways, obviously a simple instrumental is fine depending on the song. And I guess this one works in the sense that it's trying to be a very laid-back kind of mellow song, but then we get into the vocals. This song is performed by Shoko Nakagawa, who you should be familiar with as she's performed other Pokemon songs before, and honestly, this isn't her best work in my opinion. Like, she can sing, don't get me wrong, like, go listen to some of her other stuff, she's got some fucking pipes on her, right? But she sounds really subdued in this song, which I think is fine for the mellow vibe of the song is going for, but I think Nakagawa has a lot more range than this that I can't help but feel that another singer would have been better. Like, I feel like her talents aren't as utilized as well in this song. Let's move on to the lyrics, which I really can't make heads or tails of, honestly. It's about two people sailing on a boat and going to a meadow. which is fine. It's, you know, it's cute and all, but it has nothing to do with the Arceus movie. If anything, this would have been better suited for the Giratina movie in the most literal sense. It's not quite a love song, nor does it really have an environmental message, so it doesn't really fit with either movie, much less the Arceus movie. There is another version of this song that exists out there that's a little bit more soft pop, if that's even really a thing, and I think I like that version way better than the movie version. Either way though, this one's gonna be a meh from me. And lastly, for the Diamond and Pearl movie endings, we have Ice Cream Syndrome from the Zoroark movie. Just by reading the title of this song, I thought it was gonna be like this J-pop like dance song or something like that, but it turned out to be the exact opposite. It's this kind of like acoustic jam type song with a lot of genuine meaning behind it. At its core, I think the song is about seizing the moment. It follows the story of someone who has a very good friend who they clearly have deeper feelings for, but over time they never admit those feelings and then the friends drift apart. The subject of the song later gets an ice cream, but it melts before they can eat it, and I believe that this ice cream is a metaphor for not waiting too long to do what you want. There's a line near the end of the song that goes, "The ice cream that I had meant to eat has melted all over, destiny doesn't wait," which not only describes this ice cream incident perfectly, but it perfectly explains the metaphor. You know, like if you wait too long to eat the ice cream is going to melt. It is destined to do that. If you don't act quickly, you'll miss your chance and destiny will take its course. And this parallels the friend from earlier, who the singer never actually confessed their feelings to while they were still in each other's lives. Now, that's all fine and dandy. That's a really deep message and I really like the song for that, but what does this really have to do with the movie? Well, at first, I didn't see any parallels, but then I thought about it a little bit more, and I realized that this song has a little bit more to do with the villain of the movie, Kodai. In the movie, Kodai has the ability to see into the future, and he relies on this ability to get things done. His problem is that he's afraid of the future. He sees that he will fail and lose to Ash and his friends and tries to prevent that from happening. His problem was that he tried to change fate, that he focused too much on the future instead of focusing on the present. It might be a bit of a stretch, but I think the idea of fate is present in both the song and the movie, so that's my best guess. If anyone has a better idea, leave it in the comments down below. Despite the Zoroark movie being one of my least favorite Pokemon movies out there, I think Ice Cream Syndrome has definitely quickly risen to become one of my new favorite Pokemon ending songs. It's an instant banger for me. Now we get into the black and white movies, and as we all know, movie 14 was actually two movies. There was the black version and the white version, and much like in the dub, they have the same ending song, just two different versions of it. However, the Japanese ending songs are considered completely different songs. Both songs are performed by the group Every Little Thing, so we're going to be covering both different versions of the song, starting with the song from the black version of the movie titled The Sky. Personally, I'm not too into this one. The instrumental is fine, you know, it starts off very quiet, but it gets grander as, you know, the song goes on, and it definitely fits the emotion that the song is going for. I thought the vocal performance was kind of bland though, like there was barely any inflection in the singer's voice, and it kind of brought the vibe down. Lyrically, this song is very similar to movies 9 and 10's ending songs, where it's about loss and moving on from it, and that those you have lost still kind of live on in your heart. Personally, I wasn't a huge fan of this one. It's a very emotional message, but the song itself lacked said emotion. So personally, I'll call it a bop, I guess. Now for the white version, we have a song called The Voice, which like I mentioned earlier, is just a different version of the previous song. The only changes are that the instrumental is completely different, this one having the main melody played on an acoustic guitar, with the other version was on a piano. And that some lyrics are slightly different, though it ultimately has the same message. Personally, I liked the singing a lot better in this version, as there's a lot more inflection in the singer's voice, giving it the same kind of emotional punch that the previous song lacked. In terms of the song's relation to the movie, I can kind of see it being from Victini's perspective, as in the film he had lost his original trainer and had been living a pretty lonely existence until Ash and friends kind of showed up and became his friends and stuff. Overall, I think I like The Voice better than The Sky, but it's still a bop. I couldn't really get into it. Next we have the ending song from the Keldeo movie titled Memories. This song is similar to The Sky from 2 songs ago, but I think it's much better. The piano instrumental is nice and subtle, and even when the drums kick in during the chorus, the main focus is still really on the vocals more than anything else. This song seems to be about separation and wanting to reconnect with a friend or a loved one, but with the typical Pokemon message of, we're together in our hearts kind of thing going on there. I can kind of see this working for Keldeo in the movie, as it was his friendship with Ash that gave him the courage to beat Kyurem and gain the respect of the Swords of Justice. Overall, I kind of like this one, but I think it probably needs a little bit more time to grow on me. It's a bop. And lastly, for the black and white endings, we have Smiling Face from the Genesect movie, and thankfully this one is very different from the past 3 songs. While the past few songs have been these, you know, slow kind of piano songs, this one is an upbeat soft rock song, and I immediately vibed with it. The singing is very positive, and the instrumental gives it a kind of wholesome vibe. While the last 3 songs were also about separation, this one is about togetherness, where the subject of the song is glad that they have a friend or whoever it is by their side, as it's their smile that keeps them going through the good and the bad times. See, they put the title in there kind of, almost. This message is pretty typical of Pokemon, but I really don't see what this has to do with this specific movie. It could be a bit of a stretch, but perhaps the baby Genesect learning to have friends outside of the other Genesect could be a correlation, but I don't know. If you could figure it out, be my guest in the comments. I think this song slaps. It's just some nice wholesome fun with a pretty nice message, even though it doesn't really have anything to do with the movie. Now we're getting into the X and Y movies with the ending theme to the Diancie movie titled Daybreak Meteor Shower. Honestly, I really liked this one. Unlike most of the endings, this is a soft rock song, this time performed by the band Scandal, who you may also know from other anime like Bleach and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. The sound, like the general sound of the song kind of reminds me of the English black and white opening. It kind of has that kind of vibe to it, but it still has this kind of more chipper kind of tone going on. This is added upon by the lyrics, which have this kind of typical Pokemon message of being able to do anything when you have your friends by your side kind of thing. The sky is also a big motif in this song, which I think is meant to symbolize that you're always connected to people because you all share the same sky. There are also two ways in which this song relates to the movie itself. The first is the line, "Unforgettable like a sparkling diamond in my heart," which clearly alludes to Diancie in the movie. The second connection is a little bit more general, but there's a line near the end that reads, "No matter how we separate, as long as we can feel each other's bonds, we can become stronger if we believe miracles can happen," which sounds an awful lot like Mega Evolution to me. Overall, I think this one slaps pretty hard. Nothing really else to say about it. Next, we have the worst Pokemon movie, the Hoopa movie, and its ending song, Tweedia. I fucking love Tweedia. The way it combines the acoustic guitar with this pulse type beat and the random chime sound effects throughout the song give it this very magical vibe. The vocals are also fucking fantastic, so much emotion behind them. The chorus specifically has this really nice flow and vocal progression. Have I mentioned that I don't know musical terms? The song itself has really nothing to do with the movie, as it's mainly a love song and how that love makes that person stronger. This is reflected in the title of the song, Tweedia, which is the name of a flower which, according to Bulbapedia, so take this with a grain of salt, I wasn't actually able to fact check this, but according to Bulbapedia, the Tweedia flower represents blissful love and hearts that believe in each other, which is such a nice usage of symbolism that actually ties in with what Pokemon was really doing in Gen 6 and 7, where a lot of their characters were named after flowers. The song has absolutely nothing to do with the movie, but who cares? That movie fucking sucked anyways. Terrible movie, but its ending song is an absolute banger. And lastly, for the X and Y movies, we have Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel, and its ending song titled Mailing Out My Voice. The instrumental is really nothing special here, typical backing drum and a chord progression, but there's also heavy use of trumpets or some kind of brass instrument that it gives off a very triumphant feel. Like it feels like it really feels like an ending. I also really liked the singing here. It isn't the most impressive performance in the world, but it's very well done and it really fits the tone of the song. The song is also wholesome as fuck, as it's about two people who have been separated for a while and feel immense joy when they're finally together again. You know, they kind of cheer each other up, which can be interpreted as romantic or platonic. This message seems to draw parallels to Magearna and Volcanion's relationship within the movie, which I assume is why this song was included. Overall, it was a very cute song. I definitely listened to it again. I'd say it slaps. And now into the final stretch here, we get into the Sun and Moon movies, even though they had nothing to do with Sun and Moon, with the first being the 20th anniversary movie, Pokemon I Choose You, and its absolute banger of an ending song titled Oracion's theme, Let's Walk Together. Not only is this song a vocal arrangement of Oracion from movie 10, but it's also performed by Asuka Hayashi, who sang A Small Thing from the Jirachi movie. This song is pulling from all kinds of Pokemon stuff from the past, and rightfully so, because it's the 20th anniversary film. The title of the song itself, which is Let's Walk Together, is a reference to Ash and Pikachu, and this may be a bit of a stretch, but anime ending 10 to My Best Friend that we discussed earlier in the video has a line that goes, "So I want to walk on with you on the road that continues forever," which is something that seems to be used constantly in other Japanese media centering around the bond of Ash and Pikachu. You know, whenever there's kind of a song or anything like that about Ash and Pikachu, it usually involves like an endless road kind of thing. That's just kind of a motif between those two characters. I have brain damage, I'm sorry. It does a great job of being an anniversary song for Pokemon, and lyrically it does an even better job at being a friendship song. It even relates to the movie itself with references to rainbows related to the rainbow wing in the movie. It's an absolute emotional ballad. The vocalist goes really hard, and the instrumental gives off this after the storm type feeling at the beginning. There's this great guitar solo near the end before closing on a really quiet yet very emotional note. This might just be my favorite Pokemon song ever, just no cap. Absolute banger. Since we've already covered Together with the Wind earlier, and the song for the upcoming Pokemon movie Coco is not out yet, the last song we'll be looking at today is Breath from movie 21, The Power of Us. Breath is performed by the band Porno Graffiti, and aside from having a name that would definitely not fly in English-speaking territories, you may know them from the first My Hero Academia OP. Unlike the first My Hero OP, however, this song is actually very mellow. The instrumental is kind of all over the place. It starts off with some like electric guitar riffs that are heard sporadically throughout the song, and while the electric guitar plays in your right ear, the acoustic one plays in your left for the majority of the song, which I think is really cool. The opening melody is very catchy with its da 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 da. You know what it's kind of fun. Near the middle of the song, there sounds like what appears to be a trap beat in the background alongside like actual drums, and I actually kind of really enjoy this kind of mixing of styles. It's really interesting. I had no idea that kind of stuff was really even a thing in Japan, quite frankly. Lyrically, the song is about overcoming self-doubt and staying true to oneself even if you mess up or fail along the way. This is perfect for this movie, as every character except for Ash has some kind of personal problem that they need to acknowledge and overcome for their arcs to be really complete. But I think this fits best with the character of Risa, who in the movie has confidence issues that she needs to overcome, which most directly connects with what the song is saying. It's about confidence issues and self-doubt. And to tie a nice little bow onto that, the song features the line, "Everyone has their own path and no one can take yours," which clearly references the Japanese title of the movie, Everyone's Story. I wasn't too fond of this song when I first heard it after the movie first came out, but after having listened to it for this review, it's actually grown on me quite a bit. I think it slaps. And that has been every Japanese Pokemon movie ending song as of August 2020. Personally, I think I like the more upbeat and positive ones more than the subdued sad ones. While the latter could definitely work with songs like The Sky and The Voice, I found myself enjoying songs like Smiling Face, One, You're Not Alone a bit more. But I gotta say, my favorite ending songs definitely have to be Arasion's theme, Together with the Wind, Ice Cream Syndrome, and Tweedia, among a few others. Overall, there's some really good stuff in here that a lot of people don't know about because most people watch these movies in English, so I definitely recommend finding your favorite Pokemon movie or the one you grew up with or whatever, finding the Japanese music to it and listening to that, because a lot of the times you'll probably find some interesting stuff there. So that has been every single Japanese Pokemon song reviewed, and I gotta say, while there was a lot of good stuff in there that I really enjoyed, I think there's a lot more that I just didn't really vibe with all that much. Even some of the ones that I claimed slap, some of the slappers out there didn't really do a whole lot for me. Honestly, if you're thinking of getting into Japanese Pokemon music, go listen to all or at least some of these songs by yourself. Pick your favorite Pokemon series, your favorite movie, whatever, and listen to the songs associated with it, especially if you've never seen the show in Japanese. I guarantee that you'll find something you like even if you don't understand the language, and perhaps it'll lead you to discover more music you like from the artists that have done various Pokemon stuff over the years, because a lot of them have very, very deep and detailed discographies. But that's about it for this long-ass video. I hope it's not as long as the last music review, though it's probably rivaling it. Leave a comment down below letting me know what your favorite Japanese Pokemon song is, and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. In the next installment of Matt's Music Reviews, we'll be taking a look at some music from Nickelodeon, so if that sounds interesting to you, then be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that video when it comes out. That's all for this video. I've been MattCMG, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.